get rich schemes today, Sandy. No quick schemes to make them Oryx. The underdogs are going down, and the big boys are proving why they are the big boys. As we wrap up a regular ARC match against OV, which didn't go as regular at all, considering we're 3 players down and a bunch of other things that we're not going to discuss. But anyway, welcome to an Osiris League cast that we start off with an ARC match going on in the background because I'm in the middle of finishing an ARC match. And then we're going to go hop into the cast. The cast of 2 very strong teams that are about to go ham. And as a matter of fact, we're going to bail on this. We're probably going to bail on this before. We're just going to do that and get the game to reload or something like that. Oh, not like this. That way we technically are still in the match, but we stay inactive, but not inactive long enough for to kick us out of the match, and therefore that's that. Apologies to squad. I had to dip a few minutes early. Not that it really mattered. We did our best. 27 against 30. Come on, brother. Anyway, K374 are looking to make it back to the top 4 of Osiris League, the realm of Horus. A big part of the players that came to be this team made it there in the past. They are comprised and made of legends from XJWM2 and a couple of other teams so far. Rest in peace. Our Oryx today have definitely failed us. 5,000 Oryx down the drain they go, but that is how the game works. In the meantime, 374 looking to end up at the top 4 yet again, or at least get 374 on that position as well. But UCS are in front of them, and UCS are an insanely strong, quiet team that nobody is paying attention to. They're washed up, they say. They're Kingdom 2, they say. Yada, 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 yada. But UCS have been here from day 2, well, technically week 1, and all the way until today. And they're still as relevant as they can be at the top tier of the game, with a team that is making it now to the top 8 of Osiris League, trying to make its way to the top 4. Both of these teams had a struggle to get here. They had some big matches that they had to go through. It wasn't just a cookie cutter, but they both showed, well, that's a little bit of a rest in peace on that. They both showed they had everything they needed to make it to the playoffs. A JWM defeat on the knockout stage, going through 108 showed 374 a little bit where that they needed chill. They needed to get their game going. And then once they did that, they pretty much cracked people out of here. And they made it through without a hiccup, a slight exception against the Boobs. The Boobs had to put them in their place. UCS, on the other hand, nothing's ever stopped them. They've started strong and they maintained strong. They barely let people get any points on their other side. Needless to say, on their group stage, they just brazed through it, and then came S654 and they went through them too. And now UCS are looking to go through 374 to go up against 1V in next week's semifinal. The other side semifinals already decided. Song against JST 13 UTC next week, ladies and gentlemen. And you bet your bottoms that we're going to be streaming one of these 2 matches, if not both, depending on what time they end, because hope and pray they end in different times. With that being said, a moment remains until the match begins. We're going to go into casting mode, and y'all know we change a little bit during casting mode, and I mean everybody and their grandma is casting this match at this point. So I appreciate those of you who picked to watch us today as this stream begins. The match should open up momentarily for everybody to go in, and then things are going to get very interesting. Let's get ourselves situated and ready to rock and roll as Osiris League Season 4. The last match of the day, 374 against UCS, is upon us. Any moment now, we will be able to get in and get it going. Hopefully, at some point, it happens. There it is. We go in. We are in, and ladies and gentlemen, Osiris League Season 4 quarterfinals. We're looking at a situation in which one of these teams makes it to the top 4 while the other one goes home in a top 8 placement. K374. K374 on deck with some old friends, wishing them good luck in their endeavors. And my second home, the homies of UCS on deck, trying to make it to that top 4, trying to get through to that dream. Representing UCS once again, key combatants for 374 right here. Some of the provisioners, their arc carriers, their occupation skill scorers, and all that good stuff. While on the other hand, the same exact positions being played, different folks from across the board. Provision scores looking strong, occupation scores looking strong, kill strong, and arc points, all of that. This is what they're playing for. A space in the road to champions, to be written down as champions of Osiris. Both of these teams are going through hell and back, trying to get to this arc of Osiris and win the Osiris League Season 4. I fixed the likes, thank you. Here we go as we go into the match. Ladies and gentlemen, a minute before the match begins, let me give you a quick rundown of what happens in an arc of Osiris match in case you're new and have no clue what the hype is all about. This game mode is completely different than anything you know in Rise of Kingdoms. 2 teams, 30 versus 30, show up for the next hour to try to gain as many points as possible. The team with the most points is crowned the victor. How do you gain points? 3 ways. You grab buildings and you occupy them. For every minute you occupy a building, you gain points per minute for your final score. Number 2 is through provisioning or gathering caravans, which will give you a good amount of points to your team and in the individual level for you to potentially win a match. And from there, you have the Ark of Osiris, which spawns on the Temple of Osiris in 12 minutes. It's worth a lot of points. There's a possibility of having multiple arcs throughout the match. So these are the 3 ways of getting points. Now, in the early stage of the match, all the way up to the 52nd minute of the match before it starts, we're going to be seeing primarily fights happening in the obelisks and the outpost of Iset and Seth. Those are the only buildings available for the first 5 minutes, and then the rest of them open up. This map is a mirrored map, which means both sides have the same exact building, the same exact configuration, except backwards. You can see the Shrines of War, you can see the Desert Altars, the obelisks are all the same. So, the name of the game right now is who catches the buildings quicker first and who positions themselves in a more aggressive position to start the match early on. And so, as the marches start to pour out of the gates of hell, UCS pouring out strong, and so are K374 in their journey to grab buildings. We're going to keep an eye primarily on the top view for now because there's nothing really serious happening in the early stage that we need to follow with, but this is the time to give you a few fillers of the things that you need to understand in this match. So there is what's called a first occupation bonus. Every building you occupy for the first time will give you X amount of points worth of extra points you get just for that first occupation. So it's extremely important for you to own all the buildings that are supposedly on your side, as well as hopefully grab some from the other side's buildings. Now, Apink enabling the hard push from 374 means that they are going to grab their buildings a minute quicker. That's the effect of this skill. So as you can see, they're now taking 2 minutes worth of occupation for their outpost of Iset instead of 3 minutes total. Now the team in red has not picked up any of these yet, and they, I guess, have their hard push on as well. 2 minutes on the outpost as well for the pickup. Blue team with more buildings ahead of time. Once the timers hit 0, the points start ticking and things start getting more interesting. The blue team so far with more buildings than the red team does. The red team occupying an obelisk is extremely important. The obelisk is your way to get out of the starting zone into the war field and to the path. And so for you to get into the field, for you to teleport out here, you need to occupy the obelisk and then teleport. You see that 0 over 20? That right there is how many teleports your team has available. The moment you occupy an obelisk, you're going to gain teleports, and every few minutes that go by in the match, you're going to gain more teleports along the way. So occupying your obelisks is insanely important as quickly as possible, which the team in red is now lacking on 1. The team in blue catching up and closing down both of their obelisks. And now things start getting a little bit interesting. Here's where we keep our eye on the middle buildings, on the altars and shrines, as teams start positioning forward to place themselves in a strategically sound position for an aggressive push early on. Usually, as you can see, marches will push all the way to their enemy's desert altar. This is a custom thing to see from both sides on the map, as you can see right there. And this is a way to start a match in a more aggressive fashion. One outpost was not being taken all the way till now for UCS, and there's still one missing for the folks in 374 who didn't send even a fast march here or anything like that. So once these buildings secure, maybe the blue team will lead a little bit, and then the red team will take the lead, and then the blue team will somehow get back into the game. But in the early stage, it's not a real big deal to win the points per minute game in the first few minutes. What's really crucial is to occupy the big buildings first and do it in a secured fashion. One of the things people do is they send these kinds of cavalry rallies, which are fast cavalry rallies that are meant to help you get to your enemy's building before they do. As you can see right here, the blue team is already on the red side with marches near the desert altar, and they're going to come in and start clearing people out if they can. Any advantage they can get. Speaking of advantage, they're almost 100 points in the lead right now, and that is because the points per minute game is working in their favor for the next few moments until the red team secures the remaining of their buildings, which are now 50 points to the 10 to the 60 points every single minute, which means the team in blue is slowly going to gain a lead on the team in red. Team in red, and both of them evened out on the points per minute game. But there goes the advantage in the favor of the team in blue, who has more buildings secured, taking for points for them at this particular point in time. And as I say that, these teams even out to 100 on both sides, almost at the max point. Well, they are at the max points now on their initial buildings. And here comes the pressure. Desert Altar, UCS's Desert Altar, under big pressure. 374 bringing in more marches slower than they should. Those marches are going to make it in here, but barely. The red team is positioning. Those out here need to be careful not to get picked by the red team's marches. In the meantime, teleports are coming in. Both sides utilizing majority of their teleports. 1 teleport remaining for the red team, 3 for the blue team. Red team now big aggression on the blue desert altar. 374 are going to be in deep trouble. They're getting pushed, and they're getting pushed hard. While that's happening, a rally is keeping their obelisk in check, making sure that obelisk is well secured. 374 are not going to let that obelisk go down. But what they might let go down is this desert altar. They cannot lose that first occupation bonus. This building opens up in 20 seconds, and there's a massive presence by the red team in here. Blue team trying to do the same on the desert altar on the other side, but their presence is indeed weaker on the open field than the red team's is on their enemy's desert altar. Picking up this desert altar is going to be probably a little bit easier for the team in red. Who picks it up first? Here we go. 4 seconds. Keep an eye on the buildings distributions. 3, 2, 1, and bam, here we go. Can the red team grab their own building? They can. They grab their own building. They grab the blue team's building as well. The blue team pick up a red building, but the red team, oh my, excuse me, as things go wild in the match, desert altar secured by the blue team, but nothing else. Everything else they were supposed to secure, they secure a shrine of war, but their sky altar goes to the red team. A swarm is here to get their building back. But this is a big delay, 30-second delay on the points per minute game, which will work tremendously well for the red team, who also took a Shrine of Life away from the team in blue, who are now fighting to get their Shrine of Life back. And every single moment they don't have this, it's moments worth of points per minute that they will be losing. On top of that, their Desert Altar goes down. And goes down badly. This is going to be big trouble for the team in blue, who are starting on their back foot. Just trying to secure the initial buildings is proving to be an insane challenge for them, but they're pushing back. They're causing issues for UCS, whose obelisk is being aggressed on, and being aggressed on quite badly. While that's happening, the desert altar on the red side is also in trouble. It has a lot of blue presence, and it is getting swarmed. So there is trouble and pressure by the team in blue trying to get back into this, and they're putting on pressure across the board. Buildings blinking everywhere. Blue team coming back into the offense. But every single moment that goes by, the red team is gaining 500 points every single minute, which means things are gonna go from bad to worse very, very quickly as the red team is stabilizing the points per minute game, and they're starting to gain a lead with every moment that goes by. The blue team cannot allow this to stand. Red team is not going to lose their own desert altar. They lose the sky altar that they took away from the blue team, but they are defending both of their buildings and doing that really well. So the blue team stabilized, grabbing their own sky altar, will slow down the climb by the red team early on, but it's not going to stop the pain. While that's going on, outposts all taken away. UCS are not letting this game slip. They take the 3 outposts away from the blue team. They take pretty much every point per minute building away from the blue team. And now the blue team has to scramble because they don't only have to get their major point per minute building game going back. They also have the small buildings going on. They have an arc coming in 5 minutes. And I mean, what on earth can 374 do now to stabilize their points per minute game? Because they're about to lose it pretty badly. First occupations are starting to come in. And the blue team needs to get their their Desert Altar first occupation bonuses. If they lose this, that's 750 points that the red team is going to steal away from the blue team on a building that was supposed to be theirs. Thankfully, they convert the building back, delay that first occupation timer. But again, this is a building that's supposed to tick 150 points every single minute for the team in blue. But instead, it has yet to do that for either team, which is an advantage, again, inherited advantage for the red team, whose both buildings, all of their major buildings are now ticking for points for them. And now they're stopping the blue team from gaining points per minute at all whatsoever. 1,300 point lead for the team in red, who are still 300 points every single moment ahead of the blue team. Trouble for the blue team. They are going to need to get this middle. They're going to need to stabilize their points per minute game. And they're going to need to figure out how they can hold this UCS train, because when it hit them, they pretty much lost everything in the process. And now this middle fight is looking a little bit grim. There is more red marches here than blue at this point in time, but we know the blue team is rotating in and they're making their way through. They're trying to secure their own buildings in the process, which is a detrimental thing to do. But now, finally, Desert Altar seems to be a little bit more secured. Shrine of War, on the other hand, blinking and defended successfully. Middle push is on its way, and here we go. While that's going on, blue team trying to be a nuisance with the UCS obelisk up on the top. Obelisk well defended and secured. UCS is also doing decently well defending their Sky Altar, but this Sky Altar is a bit weak. It's going to need help. There's another Jadwiga backup coming in right now for the garrison, but this is looking really bad. There is a rally doing good damage to the building and a mini swarm with some pressure. Sky Altar, UCS are going to let the Sky Altar go down, and they do. 374, the stabilizing factor right there. 60 points per minute in the lead now for the boys in blue, who are looking to come back into this 1,500 point deficit, 1,600 point deficit for the team in blue. But plenty of time to come back as they now take away the point per minute lead from the team in red. They're now putting them on their back foot, building missing that they got to get back. Middle fight that should start any moment, and the blue team keep converging in further and further. And this middle fight is going to look extremely tough for both sides. It is going to be a determining factor, but for the blue team, they have the points per minute lead. They are going to close down the gap of less than 900 points now and start taking a lead in this match. And now they leave it all to the middle, which they have now more presence than the red team does. However, is it better presence? That's the question. And do they know what they're doing? That's a big question that's coming up. UCS, in the meantime, stabilizing, grabbing their Sky Altar back. A little bit of a scare, but for 2 minutes, they're going to be down on the points per minute game yet again, which will give the team in blue the opportunity to climb back into this and to climb back into this really, really well. Here comes the push. 374 recognize that they have the lead. They know they have more people here. They need to engage first. They drop the skills and they go in, and UCS reply back. They drop their own skills. UCS are coming in now. War drums being dropped by 374, and also the same for UCS and Kingdom 2. They are pushing hard. Both Sky Altars are blinking at the same time, but the fight is in the middle, and the blue team starts with the first Frowny. They reply with a Frowny back, and it's a one-on-one on the Frownies department, but the red team has less presence in here than the blue team does. Can the blue team get here in time and stabilize the situation? Second Frowny for the blue team, for one for the red team. Where is the red Frowny to compensate for that? There it is, a 1-for-1 trade, but there's another Frowny for the blue team. Here we go. Frowny season, 3 Frownies in favor of UCS, and they're going big. They're coming in stronger than ever. And here comes more 374 pushes, but I see for every 4 so far. Blue Frownies, 1 red ones, 2 red ones. Here we go. A little bit of a stabilization by the blue team. They're starting to get that middle. They're starting to get the pressure. The team in red, though, is pressuring in the buildings game. They're about to take a Shrine of War potentially away from 374 in the middle of a middle fight. While that happens, Sky Altar defense also now looking too good. Coco needs to wake up. They cannot lose these 2 buildings in the process of trying to take a middle away from UCS. And so far, they're not doing the worst job ever. UCS are getting pushed back, but there is a lot more pressure coming in here, and still more Frownies for the blue team than the red team. Blue team cannot allow the Shrine of War to go down. There is a Zenobia extra garrison that came in to refill, and the other garrison is now swarming the rally on the open field. There's one more march coming in for a swarm. Hopefully it'll get there in time. Sky Altar, on the other hand, getting swarmed. It looks like the Sky Altar might just barely hold, and it looks like a diversion. The diversion did not work out. The threat was averted on both fronts, although this building is still looking kind of tough. Coco F needs to keep an eye here. Make sure that The Shrine of War doesn't go down while the blue team is now trying to fight in the middle, because here we go. The Ark has popped, ladies and gentlemen. The Ark is on the Temple of Osiris. Who can pick it up first? The red team does. The red team has the Ark, but they pop it on the blue side. Not the best idea. As that happens, the red march is now marching around the Temple of Osiris, and poof goes Leah. Leah grabbed from the wrong side, giving some time for 374 to keep coming in here, and they're coming in strong. They're less than 700 point lead, less than that, 600 point lead for the team in red, and they are losing the points per minute game right now. The points per minute game are actually evened out, so this is a 600 point match, and the Ark middle is looking better for the team in blue. 374 telling UCS, boys, this is not going to be an easy fight for you guys. We're coming in for middle, and we're coming in big time. 374 grabbing the Ark now. 374 with a lot of presence here. UCS delaying the Ark, making sure this is taken care of, making sure that they can mount their comebacks on the other fronts, as they are now getting frownied home. The few people that are here are going to keep hitting the Ark carrier, delaying the inevitable, just making sure they gain a little bit more time for the rest of the forces of UCS to decide what's the next move and start making the moves. But right now, UCS also need to defend their own Sky Altar that is getting hit by a rally. Thankfully, there's enough UCS presence in here to stop the rally from being as effective. Sky Altar defense secure. 590. The points per minute game evens out as the team in red is about 650 points in the lead-ish. Let's call it 650. Whatever. 650 points in the lead. But an Ark is coming home for the team in blue. 3,000 point Ark. So a little bit of a trouble for the team in red. Now they got to close a big gap. Chat, if you're enjoying the stream, don't forget to slap that like and hit that subscribe down below, because you know the best commentating of Osiris League is one you'll find on this channel. Although, thank you for those of you who chose to watch us. There is a bajillion other creators out there streaming this, and you guys picked us or the main channel with 1,100 viewers on that channel. Good for y'all. Appreciate those of you who chose us. A quick breath, a quick sip of water, and we go back into the action. Here we go. UCS pressuring the Desert Altar of 374, but there is enough presence in here by 374. This siege might be a denial, but as I say that, the building is coming down, and 374 must defend it. They have to make sure the building at least doesn't fall. And they refill a little bit of marches in here. Make sure that the building has a little bit of extra health, that it can last just a tad bit longer for the marches on the open field to get here and come help swarm the swarm in the rally, which is about to come down. Desert Altar looks decently well secured. While that happens, Outpost of Seth being yoinked by the team in blue. That's what they need to do. They need points per minute. UCS are also pressuring the Sky Altar, and they're pressuring it hard. Both the altars now under contest. 374 need to show up here and need to show up quick. The 374 defense on the Sky Altar was terrible, and that is why... Come on. Be nice to us. There it is. Sky Altar. God damn it. Sky Altar falls down. Red team takes the building. Trouble for the team in blue, who are not in the lead in this match. They're down by about 700 points, but they have the Ark, so that's a little bit of good news for them. The team in blue right now is going to want to probably hold onto the Ark for as long as humanly dearly possible, and they should probably be doing that, as they had some issues fighting in the middle, but they did succeed with their overwhelming power. How much caffeine have I had today? 2 coffees. Appreciate the $10 super chat. Anyway, as we're watching this match, Sky Altar being aggressed on UCS have a massive presence here. 374 are going to have to figure out how they're going to get here and how they're going to secure this defense, because there is a lot of pressure here. There is CC in here, there's Governor's Marches, and there is a full building to still take out. Even if the open field march right now swarms the open field march, that helps the building. The building keeps staying secured. At this stage, you got to swarm the life out of the building and keep swarming the life out of the building and empty out the weaknesses through there, because the longer you take to keep hitting the building, the longer the building secures itself out, and the more likely you are to not make points out of that. And that's going to be trouble for you overall in general. While that's going on, the points per minute is indeed in the favor of the red team, who are now gaining a bigger lead. They're 800 points in the lead and almost making that 900. But they are now going to secure this Sky Altar momentarily, which is going to be big problems for the team in blue, because now the team in red is not going to be only 150 points in the lead, and in this case they're only 120 points in the lead. They're going to be double that, because they're going to secure a building that's not supposed to be theirs into their favor, which means 270 points every single minute into the red team's pockets is good news for them, because they need to close down a 3,000 point gap worth of an Ark. They're about to go down. And here we go. As that is going on, the Shrine of War was being aggressed on. There was a rally here and a slight swarm, and the Shrine of War was very well secured. And so building is maintained. No handoff happening. Speaking of no handoffs happening, UCS not handing off back the Sky Altar to the original owners. And now 240 points in the lead for every single minute that goes by means that these guys are going to keep gaining a gap, which is now over 1,100 points, and it keeps growing with every single minute. Fear not, the blue team has somewhere on this map a Ark of Osiris that they've banked to the side. We can't see it, but it's somewhere, and they own it. They have it, which means they have a 3,000 point check they can cash at any point in time. So for the team in red right now, all they're doing is they're forcing the team in blue to cash in that check quicker so that they have to get another one of those potentially for the middle. So a 1,100 points, 1,140 point, 30 point lead for the team in red is definitely what they want to see, and is definitely what they want to maintain. And so with that being said, we have right there Rally coming in. 374 finally trying to organize to take the Sky Altar away. But they're going to need a lot more than just a rally, because this rally, Attel Takeda rally, is going to get swarmed down. Rallying with an Attel Takeda is extremely smart. They knew that they're going to get swarmed down. Attel Takeda rally swarming it with half-dead marches. 90% of the frownies you're seeing right here are frownies going after Attel Takeda on that swarm, on that rally. So what they did here is they dropped a rally that is going to do damage to the building, and that when the swarm focus it's just going to destroy all the swarm on the open field. Very good Attel Takeda rally. And then the open field comes in to refill not only the rally, but also to swarm the life out of this building. You know what the problem is? In the process, the Desert Altar went down for 374, who are more than likely going to grab their building instantly back, but it went down about a minute ago, and that's a minute's worth of points that the red team has taken away from the blue team yet again. Now they are 420 points in the lead every single minute, and so even though the blue team has finally picked up both of their buildings back into their favor, and they finally kind of can try to stabilize this 590 nightmare, up until this point, they're going to be about 300 points below, and they're going to stay there for another 2 minutes. And once they occupy their buildings, they're going to stop the madness, which has grown to 1,700 points. 1,700 points worth of a lead for the team in red from straight up just this. They keep taking buildings away. They keep being a nuisance, and they just keep... Once they secure a building away from 374, they secure it with enough forces that they can hold on to it for enough time for it to start ticking for points for them. And so they keep not only denying points from the team in blue, they also keep taking away points from the team in blue by the sheer fact that they're able to get the building for themselves into their favor, into their occupation. And this was seen happening in the Sky Altar just recently, and now it looks like the Desert Altar is looking to be the same thing. Although this time there's much bigger presence here, and the blue team will not hand off this Desert Altar back. The Desert Altar is secured 53 seconds until the blue team managed to take it back. And now the blue team needs to get in the offense. They have been on the back foot trying to defend against the attacks of the folks of UCS for a bit. But this GBS rally, Lord knows where it's on its way to. It's going towards an outpost. Okay, so that's we don't care about any of that. Rallies need to start coming down. The open field swarms by 374 need to start coming down. They need to put down the pressure now themselves, or else they're going to stay behind the thumb of UCS's pressure on the top. And here comes another piece of pressure. UCS on the Shrine of War. Massive swarm. Big rally in here. There's forces coming in, but they are very, very late. They're going to need to refill this building nonstop. A 1 million March building is going to be extremely tough to refill and resecure. Can 374 hold on to their Shrine of War? They keep microfilling. They keep holding on. They keep doing it. They keep holding. There's open field marches swarming the rally. But even if this rally goes down, there's a huge open field presence now here for the team in UCS, who are not going to leg down until the Shrine of War goes down in the favor of UCS. But 374 are not letting it go down without a fight. They're microfilling extremely well, but the damage is coming in. Building switches hands. There's just no way to keep holding a building against such a huge swarm and against such a huge presence. This is what UCS keep doing. They keep breaking apart 374's point per minute buildings, and when they do that, they are neutralizing the arc possibilities. And as you can see right here, ladies and gentlemen, the match is now almost 3,000 point lead, 2,400, 2,300 point lead for the team in blue, who by the time the blue team arc decides to cap this arc might get enough ahead that they're going to maintain a lead even at the end of all of this, even after the arc is secured. So for 374, the arc is another Hail Mary, another chance at hope. But here's the pickle. It doesn't seem like the folks in 374 are able to beat the guys in UCS in the building game, which means they need to get these arcs in. They need more arcs to pop, and they need to be able to take the arcs away from UCS like they have been. UCS take this building again away from 374. 374 took their Shrine of War back, and then UCS took it away from them. That's how much UCS have the strength in here and how much capabilities they have and how much of a nuisance they can be. These guys are just detrimental. They are just completely detrimental. And the blue team is just finding itself constantly on the back pedal of the red team, who keeps doing these kinds of things. They keep taking buildings away from the blue team and sucking up the points per minute game. Look at this Sky Altar now with a garrison, a huge open field march. Nothing is going to be able to beat this. This building is going to lock in again in the favor of the blue team or the red team, who are now going to have to pick between defending their desert altar or going for their Shrine of War, or what on earth are they doing? While that's going on, they're still holding on to an arc, which is pretty much their only point maker. At this point, the question is, why are you holding on to an arc? If you know that this is your money machine, then you should be banking it as quickly as possible to get another one and another one and another one. But 374 think that they can win the points per minute game, and this is why they keep pressuring buildings, and they are not going to deliver this arc like they should be. In about 5 minutes or so, they will be delivering the arc because they will have no choice. They might not end up in the lead. They are 2,700 points behind, and by the time they choose to take this arc, they're probably going to be more than 3,000 points in the hole, which means they're not going to get out into the lead. They're going to dig themselves a little bit out of the hole. They're going to cash in that IOU check, but other than that, they're going to have to figure out how now they put the pressure back on, because they haven't been able to stabilize the points per minute game, which they're now 200 points behind in every single minute that goes by. 33 minutes remaining in the match. Plenty of time still to gain points per minute, and plenty of time to still come back into this for 374. But UCS are looking mighty strong. They are in the driver's seat, with the exception of the middle that did not work out too well for them. They're completely in control of the tempo of the buildings game entirely. The folks in blue have picked up a few buildings here and there, but ever since the red team really put in the pressure in this side, they have just obscenely taken over the buildings game, to the point where I truly haven't seen something like this before. Grabbing an obelisk at the bottom really doesn't mean much compared to the fact that in 32 minutes, everybody else have teleported already. By the looks of it, there's 0 teleports available on one side, and there is 2, 4, 6 UCS players still in the back. How many blue people we have in the back? We should have the same amount, 6 players. So both teams still 6 players, which means they do really want those obelisks. You are correct. They want to get those points per minute, those teleports available. Both teams with 0 teleports, and a siege yet again on the 374 desert altar, and it's going hard. They're going to have to defend. They have the presence here this time to defend and even to push. They have yet to deliver the arc, which is trouble. Big trouble, as now, even if the arc is secured, the red team will be in the lead, and they're going to be in the lead pretty badly because they're gaining a lot of points per minute. They now secured another building, which put them firmly in the lead. 270 points every single minute for the team in red, and they're about to take 150 points more away from the team in blue, who have a huge presence here but seem to lack the people to get in the building. This is going to be insane trouble. They need to have the microfills coming in. If they kill the open field but they lose the building, it is all going to go really bad. They need to stop the building from going down. That building cannot exchange hands. So far, the blue team is doing everything they can correctly. They have escorted the arc, but they are now behind 500 points with an arc timer ticking down. Here we go. Match is 500 points in the favor of the red team, who are also gaining about 270 points every single minute more to make matters worse for the team in blue, who are now going to have to close a pretty substantial lead, a 600-point lead for the team in red. And this match is still everybody's match to take, but the blue team needs to figure out how they get off of the pressure of the red team that keep taking away points per minute from them on every single turn. Here comes another extremely important take from 374 to stop the points per minute gain from the red team. And now they're down to less than 150 points per minute in the lead, 120, I believe, points per minute in the lead for the team in red. And now the bleeding slows down. Blue team gets a moment to breathe. They have an arc to get ready for. They have buildings to make sure they doubly secure, and they have aggression to start pushing, because so far they've just been on their back foot, taking another one and another one away from UCS, while UCS have been putting in all the pressure. They already have another arc, another rally coming up. They already have the open field march coming towards that building to secure it. There goes the open field presence. It is pushing down. 374 is saying, nah, You guys want to take our Desert Altar? We're going for your Shrine of War. Defend it, brothers. And they do. They fall for the bait. They go for the marches, and they leave the rally to go by itself to the Desert Altar. Finally, some of these marches are like, nah, our Desert Altar push is more important. We're going to go straight for your Desert Altar and not even care for your open field marches. A bunch of people in here are falling for the trick, though, and they are going backwards in time, which on the field, which gives enough time for the team in blue to bring in more reinforcements, to be able to take care of this rally more properly and defend their building. So that's a great counter-attack push. And now 374 are falling back. When they realize they're not getting followed anymore, they're coming back to defend their building. But at this stage, this situation is much better for them. They're about to swarm down a rally that was supposed to have a huge open field presence with it. And now they're going to be able to even get rid of it before the open field gets here, which will make it even easier for the defense later on. And so rally is being swarmed quite badly. 3 blue marches really doing all the work they can to fluff down this rally as quickly as humanly possible before the open field gets here. And now the open field is like, do we attack? Do we go back? What do we do? We're not so sure. A distress move by 374, causing the guys in UCS to go backwards to rethink their movement. And as a result, it gave 374 the time they needed to secure an attack that if it came in full hand, I didn't see 374 being able to hold back. And for the record, it's still not over. The rally still held them hitting the building, and so is the open field swarm. There is still plenty of presence here by the folks in UCS to try to take this building away. But once this rally goes down, the targets are going to start getting swarmed, and that's going to make things a lot easier for the building to hold. Once it's targeting individual marches, as long as there's decent presence in the building, these marches should go down, and they should go down quick and very quick. So this is where you microfill the building and let that building destroy the open field swarm slowly and steadily. The problem is there's a lot of pressure here, and the folks in the blue team cannot let that pressure break them, because if it breaks them, that building is going to be a detrimental loss for the team in blue. We're not able to take a Desert Altar or a Sky Altar away from the red team, and are now fighting again for dear life to hold on to their Sky and Desert Altar at the same time. 600-point lead for the team in red. And 27 minutes remaining in this match as we even out to 590. There goes the blue team yoinking a 30 points away from the red team every single minute. If you're enjoying the stream, don't forget to slap that like, subscribe down below, let your alliance mates, your teammates, everybody know, yo, if you got 20 minutes, come check out Gecko's cast, because things are going nuts in a match that is very, very intense and close. We are shoutcasting on the channel, and appreciate those of you who picked to watch us today among all the other content creators and streams available for this match. You guys are an awesome community, and I thank you for all your support. So here we go. The Sky Altar is well defended. 374 managed to hold the bleeding. UCS cannot get this building away from them. But can they get the Desert Altar? The Desert Altar was looking much better for the team in red. The team in blue abandoned their building altogether. They're going towards the middle. They have to go to the middle. But the building might go down. And if this building goes down, it's a huge misplay by the team in blue, who had the presence here, but just let it go to middle without fully securing their building. And this can be insanely problematic. Puggy has a little bit of presence here. There are a little bit of leftover marches in here that are trying to be just a nuisance. GSB coming in with a garrison, a full march to garrison the building. That is great, because that will definitely be very helpful for the building to refill. And that is all they need. They need to make sure they secure their buildings. And now they're gunning it to the middle, and they're gunning it to the middle big time. Another middle fight about to pop, ladies and gentlemen. A 3,500 point arc this time if it's successful. Whichever team grabs it, 3,500 points. And for the team in blue, this is a must. They haven't been able to gain any points per minute lead at all. Pretty much a significant one for a very long time. The team in red has had significant leads in the points per minute game drastically in the past few minutes, which means the blue team really needs this arc, and they need to maintain a stable points per minute game in order to stay competitive in this 25-minute match that we still have ahead of us. 2.5 minutes until the arc comes up. The red team has some presence, and the presence is growing. The blue team has a very good amount of people coming in and a huge presence on its way too. More and more people trickling in as rallies are being launched by one team, and that is the team in red. They have 3 rallies on their way, while the blue team is only sending 1 out there. Here is one of those rallies, a rally on the Desert Altar that is being very well defended. Puggy just comes in for a little bit of a swarm, a quick swarm to fluff down the rally even further. A little bit of an open field. Cavalry is in here. Good cavalry marches hitting the archers, making sure these archers are gone. Desert Altar is secured. Puggy at this point should not be hitting anything, as that swarm should be doing the trick. There it comes. Red team is starting to position forward. The blue team is here, and they know that they know the bleeding is coming. It is a 50-point match, ladies and gentlemen. Provisioners are coming in, points per minute are coming in, and the blue team is leading the charge in the points per minute game, and they lead the match for the first time in a very long time. They take the lead, and they are now about 50 points ahead of the red team. Nothing very serious, enough to just put us at an even standstill. 25 minutes remaining in the match, and about 590-ish, 620 to the 560, primarily because of a building or two that switched hands. You can see right here which buildings are for which team. 374 drop mystical formation. That means we're about to go down. Things are about to go down majorly. Here we go. All the buildings are now taking for points for all teams, except that the 30 points per minute at the bottom left is going to the blue team instead of the red. War drums, mystical formation, war drums on both teams, and the engagement is on UO and UCS in red to the death. Here comes it to the death from 374, and it is on. Frownies for both teams, but I see a lot more red frownies. Blue frownies are catching up, though, but the red frownies are still coming in. Can 374 take out UCS? This is going to be a critical point in this match. The team in blue is going to need to have this arc secured in the bag in order to put pressure on UCS to have to keep doing a building game, and a very strong building game. For the team in blue, they are taking a lot of frownies. They're not going to take this middle that easily. It's not going to be like last time. There's a lot of red frownies, and there's more of them coming through. The blue frownies are piling on, though. Trouble for both teams, but I see more red than blue right now, and the blue team needs to show up here, and they need to show up here quickly. They cannot let this arc go away. In 12 seconds, it's going to drop, and it can drop on either side and work for either side. The question is, which team is going to pick it up first? Blue team has a lot of frownies compared to the red one. Red one's marches are starting to take over this middle. Very big problem. The arc has appeared. Blue team needs to pick up the arc and needs to start moving. They cannot allow the red team to have this advantage. The red team has already proven that they can beat the blue team in the buildings game, but oh my God, look at the amounts of frownies. All the frownies leaving as the red team also pick up the arc, and the red team is gone. They're going to start dipping it with the arc. Blue team needs to, at this point, stop the arc carrier at any cost, but every time I see a frowny, I see 6 others from the blue team. It's not only one at a time, it's 5 to 6 at a time, and the red team just absolute push. They are doing it dirty. They know that they lost that first arc because of Lord knows what that put them behind 500 points in this match, but now they're dialed in and they're like, nah, not in my house. Ho, ho, ho. And they're just straight up doing damage. 500 point deficit is not a big deal when you have a 3,500 point arc that you're about to cash in. Add to that the fact that you're a little bit behind on the points per minute game. Nothing very serious. The arc cash, the arc check that you're going to hold and wait to cash whenever you feel like it is going to be the biggest upside thing for UCS right now. They need this. They want this. They're not going to let this go down, and they need this arc for a victory. And so far, the 500 point lead for the blue team keeps growing. It keeps growing, but it's not going to grow fast enough to be as relevant as an arc pickup, especially not a 3,500 point second arc. Red team very much in control of this arc, and now the blue team need to react. And the way they react is by taking buildings. If they cannot take away buildings from the red team, if they actually keep losing buildings to the red team, this is going to be a very tough match to come back from. Both these teams should be provisioning. So this 500 point lead for the blue team is miserable compared to the fact that what's going to happen towards the very end, which is essentially when the match reaches its garrison situation. It's a provisioning situation. However, if the red team managed to take away the arc this easily and they take the points per minute lead that like they have been in between arcs all of this time now, then there's going to be a real scenario where the red team can end up with like even 15,000 point lead, even though they're now down behind by almost 1,000. So this is going to be a really interesting one. Yes, sir. The red marches did overwhelm that middle. T2A lost to K374. That's funny. That's actually pretty funny. Anyway, with that being said, here comes the UCS Swarm to try to take this building away from the blue team. And the blue team has been struggling with this defense up to this point. So they're going to have to be tippity top of the shape at this scenario because there's an open field swarm, but there is no rally. In the process, the blue team has to put in more pressure. They need to put in more damage. They need to push UCS back. And UCS are comfortable with an attack, but now trouble. 374 have a good rally going on. It's doing really well against the building that is now going to get swarmed. There is a debuffer and a buffer march around nearby, and this is trouble for UCS. Now UCS's Jadwiga is in a little bit of a pickle because she's about to get swarmed majorly with a rally that's doing very well against her and some extra buffers, debuffers, archers, cavalry, infantry all over the place. A swarm against a Jadwiga, very important swarm for the team in blue. They need to take the Sky Altar away from the red team. They need to stop the red team from gaining points, and they're doing so. Sky Altar down to red. It is getting refilled, but it's not getting refilled enough. Insatiable Desire by 374. Remember that. Garrus Gathering skill being popped by 374. Garrison backup comes in for UCS, and the Garrison is about to come out, as you will see momentarily. There's going to be a Jadwiga here still, but there's still major pressure by the folks in blue. The UCS are going to need to be able to hold 374 back, and so far they're not being able to do that too much. The rally is being hit, but the building is extremely low. Garrison got kicked out. The Garrison is out. Ende's Garrison is gone. They need to switch Garrison quickly. They are not going to be able to get that done in time. Blue building conversion. There it is. 374 stops the bleeding. They want to keep gaining a lead now. They're 1,000 points, less than 1,000 points in the lead, and now they're 2,100 points every single minute in the favor, 210 points, every single minute in the favor of the team in blue, who are looking to keep gaining points, to get away from the 840 points lead that they have against UCS. And UCS, they need to reply. They need to figure out how they reply to this. While that's going on, 374's defense is holding well. Now the question is whether they can convert their timings. If they manage to kill this arc, this rally, push one of their allies out, and actually start pushing out, they can change the momentum. The way you shift momentums is just like that. When there is right now a momentum push by UCS, you need to be able to kill it quick enough and be able to do something in return fast enough so that there is no continuation of momentum for UCS. So now that the rally is dead, all this open field march should be starting to come down with a rally that is on its way already, and essentially create a situation in which UCS are not the ones dictating the pace of this siege. Instead, there's a fight converging towards the Sky Altar. Sky Altar turns red back, bleeding avoided for the red team. Blue team trying to get that bleeding going to the red team, but unfortunately none of that possible. 180 points every single minute for the team in blue is still great for them, and now they're in the lead of about 1,200 points. Here comes a rally towards what looks to be a outpost rally or something like that. I mean, they're going to try to get every possible point possible on Earth. Shrine of War also being aggressed on. Open field marches all over the place. Here comes the open field swarm by 374. Hard push coming from UCS. They want to make sure that if they occupy buildings, it's going to be as quickly as humanly possible, as they're now down 1,200 points, but they are banking a 3,500 point arc. This puts it as at a 23 to 2,200 point match so far, and it is looking very, very strong for the team in red, who have been maintaining most of the lead, who have been maintaining most of everything. They have been in the driver's seat entirely in this match, and it is fantastic to see. They still have some time to go, 16 minutes to go, and they're still behind now by about 1,100 points. They need to make sure they close out this match. They need to make sure that they grab this arc and that their provisions game is strong, because 374 can still win back this match through provisions and through other means. They cannot. There's 8 minutes until the arc is popped, which means if UCS hold until the very, 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 very end, they can deny another arc coming into this match. There's going to be another arc popping, but it's not going to be deliverable. And so for UCS, the quicker they deliver this arc, the more likely there is to be another arc in the middle, and another possibility for them potentially to lose a huge chunk of points. For them, they're now trying to hold their 1,300 point deficit and have an arc banked to stop that and bring them 2,200 point worth of a lead. And then from there, it's just gravy town. They just need to be able to keep holding, and that's what they're looking for right now. They need to hold the door, and then they need to bank the arc. That's all they're trying to do. They're keeping 374 on their back foot. If they can take a building away from 374, especially a points per minute game building like this one right here, where the 150 points every single minute are extremely important for 374. If this building goes down, it's just going to cause a massive issue for the team that is in the lead for the record to win this match. Because being in the lead at this point doesn't put them in ahead. It doesn't mean that they're actually going to win. They have the most points. They don't have the most points as of right now, but they will have them once the arc is delivered. But that doesn't mean anything. And again, the same can be said about the blue team, who right now have the most points, but as soon as an arc is delivered, they're not going to be in the lead anymore. But they are doing everything they can to increase this gap, which is now at 1,400, almost 1,400 points. And they're doing so by winning the points per minute game, even by 30 points every single minute. That is better than nothing. UCS with a hard pressure on this Desert Altar. Desert Altar might go down, and that is going to be trouble. The UCS Desert Altar, on the other hand, very well secured by them. Their shrine of their Sky Altar is looking very well defended as well. All the red buildings are extremely well defended. They're even pushing on the aggression, and now they're pushing the envelope on this 374 Desert Altar. 374 are just not here, and they need to be here, and they need to make it here quick. They need to get this building. They cannot allow the points per minute game to flip, and it's about to just do that. UCS take a Desert Altar away. Massive open field presence here means it is probably going to start ticking for points for UCS momentarily, and this will put them in the lead again. 80 points per minute, 120 points per minute every single minute for the team in red. 120 points per minute every single minute for the team in red. They're going to close this 1,200 point gap just like this with the points per minute, and then they're going to deliver this arc in about 6 minutes, give or take. They're going to give their sweet time, and oh man, UCS, they are doing better so far, but there's still plenty of match to go, because 13 minutes at this close of a match still means that the points per minute game is in the game. There's still arc in play, and there's still provisions in play, which can come in at a massive rate now. Now that the red team knows that they're a little bit behind, they need to secure their gathering at least, because they don't want there to be a situation where they get out provisioned. So there is a situation here. UCS's Desert Altar is still theirs. They almost lost it, but the refill is just going to hold on to this Desert Altar even further. The team in blue is just not able to take buildings away from the team in red, and the team in red is not only taking buildings from the team in blue, they're actually making them tick for points for them. They're actually holding on to them long enough so that these buildings start giving points to the opposite team. And even though the opposite team is now holding to 3 altars, they're not holding on to their outposts, so that's a little bit of good news for the 374, who just are losing their lead. Now the less than 1,000 point lead for the team in blue, and they are looking to take their Desert Altar back at all costs, but this building is going to hold at all costs, and this is exactly what UCS need to be doing. They're about to lose this building, but they're not out of this at all. The building is about to go in favor of 374 back again, even though it's very tough to see the health on it. There's enough of a march here. There's open field presence here. There's a rally here. At this point, holding on to this building is a fiction of your imagination to the team in blue, as they lose the building, a minute's occupation. And while that happens, blue team, though, dropped the Shrine of Life, which is extremely problematic. Shrine of Life, 80 points per minute, gone for the team in blue. And now the team in red, yet again, 160 points per minute worth of a lead every single minute. They are closing it down. It's down to less than 1,000 points lead for the team in blue, and that number is gonna go down. It is already down to 900 points, less than that, and it's gonna come down quick. This blue team needs to stop the points per minute gain for the red team. The blue team should be provisioning like crazy. They're just not able to take buildings away from the team in red. They're just not capable of taking a building away from the team in red, which is highly disappointing, considering they were doing really well until they fell to the pressure of UCS. And as a result of falling to the pressure of UCS, they keep losing buildings. In this scenario, this is where all this open field needs to be pushing forward. They need to be putting their presence much farther ahead. They cannot allow UCS to come bring a huge swarm and a rally onto your building. It's just impossible that this building is completely empty all around it while this building is being extremely well swarmed. This is when these guys need to be pushing forward. They need to be putting presence, and they need to be attacking. They're the points per minute lead actually went up. It looks like the folks in blue had a provisioner come home. So now they're up by about what looks like less than that. Yeah, the number is going down. Sorry, it's less than 600 points. It's almost 600 points. So the number is coming down. 610 points in the lead for the team in blue, but a rally is on its way to be intercepted by the open field march of 374. A little bit of a mistake. I don't understand why they do that. But then again, they want to kill off their marches to get back home quicker. And I understand that specific situation. Here comes a swarm. Here comes the open field swarm that's going to just come down with the rally. The rally needs to be taken out first, and then the swarm can be taken out next. And it can be even forgotten if you send your own open field swarm in a rally of your own onto their building. They're going to think twice before coming up to yours with their own swarm. Here comes the swarm by 374. They're not going to let this rally do damage. It's just going to hit a little bit, and it's going to go away. Good defense by the team in blue, who really, really need to hold on for every single points per minute they have, because they have very, very little of them. They're getting wrecked left and right. The team in blue is about 70 points per minute in deficit, and there is a lot more time to go. 10 minutes in this match to go. 900-point lead for the team in red and blue, and everything up for grabs. Team in red, 3,500-point arc will put them about 2,800 points in the lead, give or take, after they secure this arc. But that's nothing that the blue team cannot make back and cannot make even more. The first thing they need to do is they need to capture their own buildings back, and they need to do that quick. Their Shrine of Life needs to go down. It needs to go back to being blue and giving them points. And then from there, they need to slow down the red team. They need to grab 1 or 2 buildings away from the red team. And that will put them at a scenario where they're less than 2,500 points worth of a difference for the team in red, and therefore provisions can become a thing. You bet on boobs? I did too. Chat, if you're enjoying the stream, don't forget to slap that like. We're 28 likes away from 100. I'm sure 28 of you beautiful people can take a moment, hit the like button, as an exciting 9 minutes remain in this match. UCS are having a tough match, but they're doing good. They now take a huge lead as they get the arc occupied. They know there's no more arcs. They are safe with that. 3,100 points. So there's what? 2,600-point lead for the team in red, and that lead is slowly going to grow as they're still in the points per minute game. 2,400-point lead for the team in red. The team in blue is going to have to stop the points per minute gain for the last 8 minutes. If they cannot stop the red team from gaining points every single minute in the next 8 minutes, they're not going to be successful at this. They need to stop the red team from getting points per minute, and they need to make sure they stabilize their own, which is extremely tough to do against a big team like UCS, a big, strong team. But here it is. The 590 should be upon us any moment. 590 from the team in blue and 590 from the red momentarily. Insatiable Desire being dropped. Keep an eye on that Insatiable Desire. The match is absolutely getting to the last moment. And while UCS is in a very decent lead of about 2,500 points, the blue team is not going to let this go down without a fight. The blue team is not going to let this go down without a fight. And the red team is looking to secure a top 4 victory, a top 4 placement in the Osiris League, while both teams with 4 teleports available, all teleports in 590. And the team in blue need to make a miracle happen. They need to take a couple of buildings away from the red team. They need to slow down the points per minute game for the red team. They need to gain a bigger lead. They need to close this gap down because they want their provisions to be what wins. But with a 2,000, 3,000 point, 2,700 point lead, provisions are going to be extremely tough to close that gap. And so the team in blue needs to stop the bleeding. They need to get themselves down on the offense, and they need to take buildings away from the red team. And the red team needs to keep cruising. If the red team keeps doing what they're doing, which is straight up just do damage, slow down the folks in 374, just keep putting on the pressure on them nonstop, the red team will win this match just by doing that. And they know this, and it's why they keep doing it. While that happens, UCS's hard push is here. They want to take buildings away from the folks in 374. Sky Altar being one example, with a rally coming in here and an open field swarm in here as well, which is going to be a little bit of trouble to hold for the team in blue, who are also holding their Desert Altar in the same way. There's an open field and a swarm in here. Same rally, same open field. Everybody is still here just fighting for dear life. And this building is holding, but it's not holding too well. Counter rally, not successful against the rally on this building. Trouble for the team in blue. They're about to lose their Desert Altar. If they lose their Desert Altar, they're more than likely going to lose this match, as they're going to lose their top points per minute game. There's 6 minutes remaining in the match, which means they're not going to be able to more than likely hold on to the building for too much longer. They cannot afford to lose the building. They cannot afford to lose the points per minute. They keep microfilling like crazy. This building is extremely important. There's not going to be enough time to enjoy the points out of it once you lose it. And 374, knowing it, are doing everything they can to microfill the life out of this building. That is still a blue building. I cannot believe it's still holding as long as it has. The Desert Altar is holding well. Here is the swarm on that poor Zenobia. Zenobia is getting swarmed, but there's an open field swarming. The swarm is their hope. Zenobia keeps getting reinforced, and the rally is there's no rally. The open field swarm is still going hard. The blue team is fighting hard. They want to make sure the red team doesn't have what it takes. The red team has a bunch of marches still on the open field here. They need to secure it. Oy vey, the red team takes the Sky Altar away from the blue team. Points per minute generation in the favor of the red team. 150 points every single minute, who are now 2,700 points in the lead, and that lead is going to grow with every moment that goes by. That lead is going to grow, and it is going to grow badly as the Shrine of Life also goes into the favor of the red team. At this point, it looks like the blue team are just like, go provision, just stay provisioned, be provisioned, provision the provisions out of your provisions, because a 2,700 point lead for the team in red. You got to hope and pray you've gathered more than them, because, I mean, these guys are still making for 380 points every single minute, and there's still 5 minutes to go, so they're still going to make a 1,500 point lead if the team in blue does nothing about it. But it doesn't look like the team in blue has anything left in the gas. They're fighting for dear life to grab their buildings back, but they're just unsuccessful at doing so. And in the process, even if they do it at this point, there's so little time remaining that they're not going to get to enjoy as many points per minute, as there's not that many minutes remaining. But every moment that goes by that the red team has this building giving them points is more and more on the red team side, who is now 380 points per minute in the lead. The blue team crumbling towards the end. 3,000 point lead for the team in red. And oh my goodness, blue team cannot hold, cannot defend. They can't do anything. They got chummed down. They cracked under the pressure. And UCS, once they had their foot on the gas and they had it down to the pedal, down to the metal, nothing got close to them. Absolutely nothing got close to them or near being able to do anything to this rally or to this match or to this building or to anything. We have not seen 374 aggress once for the last 20 minutes or so. This match was extremely close in the early stages. And now it's down to 3,100 points. Provisioners are about to come in. 4 minutes remaining in this match. We're going to keep an eye on the score up on the top, because it can go down to a much closer match. However, a 3,000 point lead being closed with provisions is going to be a very tough thing to do. Usually you want to keep it under the 2,500 point lead that provisions can potentially take over, but this big of a lead is going to be extremely tough to close down, as UCS are also going to be gathering, and they're now 3,200 points in the lead. We're keeping our eyes on the provisioners coming in as the blue team get their building back at the bottom. They're holding on to their desert altar. The red team knows that now it's a matter of provision and just hold on to your buildings. 3 minutes remaining. No team is going to make more points at this point. Any building you take away is just going to be more deficit. UCS are making points out of a Sky Altar, a Shrine of Life that's not even supposed to be theirs. The blue team is trying to get their building back, and they are going to get it back. They're going to enjoy 80 points more from 1 point on the clock that is going to remain on this building. 2 minutes occupation, 3 minutes on the match. Match is about 3,600 point lead for the team in red, and it doesn't look very good for the team in blue, who can still bring in plenty of provisioners in the next 2 minutes to make this match much closer. But I don't believe at this point that there is any hope for the blue team to come back into this, but hopefully, we never know. 100 more likes, so 10 more likes to the 100 likes. Throw a like on the video if you're enjoying the stream, says Daddy Ratchet. I appreciate you, Daddy Ratchet. And if you guys are enjoying the stream, hit that like, hit that subscribe down below. This match has been exciting to cast, although it's been a little bit of a close, less close one than we are used to. It's okay. It happens. We're going to keep getting better matches and matches, as top 4 are going to be determined after this match. 3 more matches to crown the champions of Osiris League Season 4, and that is coming very quickly. We will be, of course, casting the finals and the semifinals, both of them on this channel. You definitely want to make sure you show up for that, because the best shoutcasting you'll find in the game is in the Gecko Gaming channel, as we're now almost 4,000 point lead for the team in red. 1 minute and some remaining. Team in blue needs to start bringing their gatherers back home. They are going to come back in, and there is a skill being dropped by the red team, who are going to want to try to take away points from the blue team in the last few moments. They're just doing everything they can to just take away points nonstop. 80 point per minute lead. No, they want another 150. They don't care that there's a minute and a half remaining. They're going to keep going, and they're going to keep going hard. They're going to keep going very hard. 6 more likes. Let's do it. Yep, you guys smashed it. You can make it to 122, but you guys smashed the 100 like goal. Appreciate you guys very much for it. Last few moments. Here come the provisioners, and UCS seem to have more provisioners so far online than the blue team does. A minute remaining, and they should be starting to come home. We should be seeing points pop off very, very quickly as people are marching home, but it takes a couple of moments. Here is a pop-up right there of points, and we're up a decent amount, less than 5,000 point lead for the team in blue, which is now down to 3,200 points. The team in blue behind 3,200 points, not ahead. They cannot lose any buildings. They're just gaining points right now. They need their provisioners to come in. Is this all we got? Less than 3,000 points difference between these two teams. One arc, a few buildings, one building being held long enough. A lot can be said. Lots of slight mistakes from 374, who are now down to less than a 2,300 point lead for the team in red. 20 seconds remaining, and this can still close down very, very weirdly. More points can trickle in. 14 seconds, 12 seconds remain. We can call a 3,000 point win for the team in red in UCS, but points are still trickling in slowly and steadily. GG's to UCS, top 4 in Osiris League Season 4. And massive congratulations to the boys on Kingdom in Kingdom 2. Shout out to the Kingdom 374 folks. Congrats on a huge top 8 performance. Yet again, showing that you guys are one of the top teams in Osiris League in this game. Let's go look at the schedule because we got a couple of exciting matches coming up for us to cast. That is right. That is right. The schedule is set. UCS against 1v 15 UTC. Song versus JST 13 UTC. Which means one thing, ladies and gentlemen. We will be casting both matches next week on this channel. Be here. I want to see you all here next time. I appreciate every single one of you again who slapped a like, hit the subscribe, joined the channel, became a member, donated, super chatted, and all that good stuff. You guys are amazing. I appreciate every single one of you for your continuous support. I'm trying my best to stay consistent and bring you guys out more content, more fun content. I know we've been falling off, but we're doing our best, and I appreciate all of you for choosing us today, yet again. I'll see you next week, and I will stream on Wednesday as well. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, and I am going back to work because I skipped work to do this. Don't tell them. Peace. See ya.